Right, welcome. We're back, and we're going to carry on with Bilbo's journey in The Hobbit. There's Amonsul up there, and we don't go there in The Hobbit. We go right past it. I think this is what Tolkien in The Hobbit called the empty lands, but there were ruins of ancient times and that kind of stuff. So there's a ruin, there's a few ruins around the place, and the Watchtower of Amonsul is up there. But we're going to get on our horse. Let's see if I got this right. Is it F11? No. Oh, it might be 0, is it? Get on the horse. There we go. We're going to get on our horse. Woohoo! Because up to this point anyway, the dwarves are riding along on ponies, so I thought we'd trundle along on the horse, save a bit of time. We have been through here already with our other group, with the Lord of the Rings Fellowship. They're happening way in the future now, but of course this game is set in Lord of the Rings, so all the Hobbit stuff happened 50 years before in terms of game time here. But yes, so sorry I've been away a long time. I don't know if anybody's really hanging out for these videos. I don't think anybody does, but the good thing is that we're back. I've been doing a bit of work on my education channel for helping the students get through their exams this summer, and also to hit that good learning point immediately after an exam when kids are very receptive to finding out how well they did in the paper. It's a great learning moment, and it's completely wasted because they're all on study leave and they're all moving into new things and that kind of stuff. But there is a moment there where learning can be done, and if we go through their exam paper and let them look at where they went wrong and maybe highlight to them things that they need to be focusing on for their learning in the future, it's a really good moment to do it. And yeah, so that's where I've been. That's what I've been doing, and I'm still doing a lot of that. Oh, there's a player coming the other way. Now we're on the 64-bit servers. The news has broken at Lotro, and we're all getting shoved onto the 64-bit servers whether we like it or not, because they're closing the 32-bit servers, which is probably a good thing. There are still some teething problems with the 64-bit servers, as you'll see as we go along here. We'll see the occasional little hiccup in the graphics. But anyway, here's the Lone Lands, and we've got all these ruins, and we're running through here on our horse, and hopefully, I'm just going to put a clock on this, but I think I can keep an eye on the time in this. And we'll try and get ourselves up as far as Rivendell, and we'll see how we go from there. So the dwarves and Bilbo, really, it's a couple of chapters in The Hobbit that gets them as far as Rivendell. But we have to go through the Trollshaws first, which is where the first real action in the wilds happens. And we'll see the result of that in this video. And we saw the result of it in our previous video as well, when we followed the Fellowship, because they came to the spot where Bilbo had met the trolls as well. So we'll see if we can find it. It's a bit of a tricky job, the Trollshaws. That's why they ended up meeting trolls, is because it's a bit of a maze, and they got kind of lost, and then they ended up having to find trolls. The Hobbit movies. What did we think of the Hobbit movies, hey? I think I've talked about that in the previous video anyway, so we're not going to harp on about it. But in the Hobbit movies, there's a lot more. Everything's just expanded out when it didn't really need to be. I always find that it seems to be happening more and more these days. That. Oh, we're getting off track. I'm just trying to look around us a wee bit more. I seem to find. I find a lot now that when they do adaptations of stuff, they're just piling stuff in. They're trying to get a job for everybody, you know, so pile in something for the special effects person to do, pile in something for the props people to do, pile in something that can be used in the future video game or the future merchandising and stuff. And what they're doing is they're just creating flab, I think. I mean, writers do this as well. They write the book, they write the novel, and a good novelist will edit out all the rubbish, all the flab that's in there, and get the whole thing as tight as possible, because that's what the reader wants, and I think that's what the viewer wants in video as well, in movies. They don't want to sit there watching a whole pile of, you know, directors and artistic directors and costume people and special effects people just indulging themselves. They want to see a story. It's always been the case. And I think when you lose track of the story and the pacing of the story, everything goes wrong. And I think it did for the Hobbit movies, sadly. But anyway, we're all getting turfed off the 32-bit servers. I've moved my last characters, migrated them from the 32 bits to the 64 bits. It's a sad day. But I'm going to have to continue my other videos. These are my fast-forward videos of the journey of the Fellowship. They'll have to be done on a 64-bit. I was doing them on a 32-bit, but there you go. And I'm sure that means absolutely nothing to people who come along here just to see a bit of Middle-earth as realised by these games. I guess the 64-bit servers are probably slightly better, graphics-wise. Now, here's the last bridge. So we're just about to leave the Lone Lands and enter the Trollshaws. And we'll just have a look around. There's our horse doing a wee bit of a pirouette. A lot of dressage. Oh, I saw a funny thing today. There was... I'm a member of a Facebook group for one of the villages that I stay in the summer in northern Scotland, and there was a woman on asking for information on how. So we're going through here. This is the Trollshaws. There's a woman on. She came onto the Facebook page and she'd written this note saying, "Where can I buy bridles and harnesses and whips and sort of all this kind of stuff for dressage leathers, I think it was, something like that." And nobody had said anything. There's a couple of people made a few helpful comments, and I was so tempted. I just decided not to in the end, but I was so tempted to just write, asking for a friend, how much do you charge? But yes, I'm sure somebody will ask it eventually. So anyway, we got ourselves off the path. Where's the path? See, this is so easy to do, right? And this is what Thurin and company did as well. They got themselves off the path and got kind of lost. So we'll go up here. Let's get off the path and do a bit of getting lost. And this is a bit of the game where we go and find some trolls. Earlier on in the game, when you're about, what's level are you in here? You're at level 30, level 35, level 40 as you come through here. And we start to see some Fellowship content here where we see some slightly stronger monsters. The monsters don't do a lot more damage, but they're very hard to kill. So they get more time to kill you and stuff like that. But, so we're going to run through here and I'm going to see if there you see, look, there's a troll. Out in the daylight, he should be turned into something, shouldn't he? According to the Hobbit story. So he should be turned into stone and die. Yes. May the dawn take you. Whatever it was Gandalf said as he came over the hill with this thing. Anyway, we're going to go down here and we're going to try and get ourselves around. Can we go this way? We can't go up there. Oh, we can go up there, I think. I think this is how we're going to get to where the trolls are that Bilbo met. We'll just go up here and see if I'm on the right track. I might not be, of course, but we'll hunt around until we find them. I think this is it. Yep, yeah, I think we're on the right track. So yes. Anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting that nobody had made the comment on Facebook. Poor woman probably has got that comment from somebody and she's now wondering. Here's the troll hole, look. This is the troll hole where the trolls lived. See that? There's a keyhole for the key. There it is. We didn't see this the last time, but this is where, after they fought the trolls, let's get off. Shall we get off the horse? Can I get off the horse like that? Oh, I can, yeah, excellent. So, they fought the trolls, and then they came back here, and this is where we found Sting. So it's a very famous cave, actually, the Trolls Cave. And couple of pots and pans of troll dimensions for cooking hobbits with and things like that, and dwarfs. And then down here we come to the Stone Troll Glade, as it's called now, because this all happened 50 years ago. And a stone troll is a stone troll, so it hangs around for a while. Here we are. Here are the trolls. So yeah, it's a bit of a drama. This is the first real crisis point in the story where Bilbo is faced with potential disaster. And of course, Bilbo is the one who gets the dwarfs out of it. Well, at least he delays long enough so that Gandalf can come back and rescue them. But anyway, there's the three trolls. What were they called? Bert and Tom, and what was the other one called? Can't remember. It's a long time since I've read The Hobbit. But anyway, Bert and Tom and... Oh, can't remember. Put it in the comments if you remember. You'll get a prize. What prize can I give you? I think I've got some broken protractors in the lab. Okay, so we'll get back on our horse. And we'll head to Rivendell. That's exciting. We're going to go this way? No, we're going to go this way. Okay, so this gets us back on track. Gandalf will get us back on the path. Make sure we don't get lost again. And run into wolves and trolls and things. And pretty much from here it's straight to Rivendell in the Hobbit. Hobbit's a very episodic book. I think I said that in the last video. So it jumps really pretty much from scene to scene with very little time spent on the journeys in between. And that's good. That's what kids like. It's a children's book. So it's action to action to action. And cut very tightly to keep the whole thing focused on the action. And very successfully. A beautiful book. Lovely book to read. If you haven't read it, I thoroughly recommend it. And if you haven't read it, you're going to get spoilers in this video, but I'm sure you probably watched the movie. Or at least have some notion of the story. Anyway, if you haven't read it, read it. And I would read the book before the movie, and in fact, the movie does spoil the book, but the book's way better in terms of entertainment than the movie. So there you go. Anyway, we're heading for Rivendell, down through the Trollshaws. We're going to cross the fords of... Not the fords of Isen, that's somewhere else. It's the... what's the name of this river? Can't remember that either. God. This is no good. So yes, what else is happening? Rory McIlroy seems to... just check the scores in the golf. Not doing too well in the old US Masters. No, US Open. US Open golf. We follow Rory because he's from where I come from. And he's a much better golfer than I am, so there you go. But anyway, he's not doing too well this week. He did win the Masters a few weeks ago, and I think he's still recovering from that. I think he's still celebrating, in fact, because he's not hitting his shots well at all. So he's got to get himself in order, though, because Port Rush is coming up. He gets a chance, and maybe his last chance, to win a golf major in Northern Ireland, where he's from, and where I'm from too. And we all want to see him do it. And Shane Lowry spoiled the party by being the first golfer from Ireland to win a major in Ireland, and that was a great thing, actually. Brilliant performance from him. Rory got himself cut out of the tournament that time by hitting a drive out of bounds in his first shot. So, yes. He's some kid. Okay, loses it sometimes, and he's getting better. He doesn't lose it for as long as he used to, but yeah, he loses it sometimes. Right. We're going to just head up the path. The Gandalf would have led them up here, but as I say, it's a very episodic book, and so we pretty much jump from the Trolls to Rivendell without much of the scenery in between. But this is the actual journey in Lord of the Rings Online, which, as I've recommended before, is a good game, even if it is moved to the 64-bit servers. I mean, the 64-bit servers will be better, I'm sure, once they get all the bugs ironed out. But there's still little things going on that make people wonder why they changed. But now there's no choice. Those old servers are gone. I'm going up here, am I? Yes, I think so. Okay. There are shortcuts up here. You can go up various slopes to the right here and then go up a steeper slope, but this is the road, as it were. And now we're at the top, I think. And we're going to head up into Rivendell, which we've been before, so this is all stuff to really fly by, and we might take our time a little bit more on the... You see that little glitch there? And I think it's something to do with the population of the server, and possibly... It might be something to do with the data streams as well. I don't know. This is all very technical stuff. but the game itself is written in 32-bit, and it's you know, been converted to these 64-bit servers, so it's gonna be a while, I think, before they get everything ironed out, but I think they will. And it's not unplayable, it just jumps around a bit occasionally as lots of people come online and use the resources. So there you go. Anyway, here's the road to Rivendell, and we're going to arrive in Rivendell any second now. We will enter the valley of Elrond. Half-Elven, as he's called in The Hobbit. It's an interesting thing that Tolkien, when he wrote The Hobbit, he had no idea he was going to write Lord of the Rings, and The Hobbit was really just a children's story set in the universe that he had created, completely out of his head. He really had no interest initially in writing a novel, but when The Hobbit was written and then released and was successful, he had to follow up with Lord of the Rings. And he had to kind of retcon a whole lot of stuff that happened in the Hobbit in order to make it an introductory book to Lord of the Rings. So when The Hobbit was originally written, Bilbo finding the ring was really, it's just a magic ring that made him invisible. Whereas it gets retconned a little bit to be the ring of power. And I think, I have a feeling the novel was revised. And then there was a whole little narrative put in to the novel, because The Hobbit is written as a saga as well. It's written by Bilbo after the events. So it's written as a journal of his adventures, but in the third person. Yeah, so to carry on that fiction, I think some editing happened to the novel, to the Hobbit, and then in the introduction to Lord of the Rings itself, the Tolkien makes some explanation of that, saying that Bilbo had initially lied to the dwarfs about the ring and finding the ring, and the reason he'd done that was because the ring was already acting on him and making him selfish and was trying to win him for its own power. So anyway, all that kind of stuff. So a little bit of retcon went on to make the whole thing fit. And Tolkien, even as he wrote Lord of the Rings, he wasn't quite sure where it was going. I think there's a letter somewhere where he says, when they got to Bree, he says that we better get off the horse or else Elrond will be across taking a horse through the house. So he said things like when they were in the Prancing Pony, that Tolkien himself had no more idea than Frodo had of who Strider was. So there you go. Here we are, we're heading up to see Elrond, but we may just pass in with Elrond and then we get him to read the moon letters, because, oh, this is not where it goes anymore. It used to be there, but it's not there anymore. It's over here. Elrond's library. Okay, it's a fancier library than it was in the early game. Got a graphical overhaul at some point in the last couple of years. This Elrond's area, Rivendell. So we'll just go down here and we'll say, "Hi, Elrond." So what happens is that the dwarves have a map and Elrond holds it up in the moonlight, which he can't do here. Oh, I suppose he could. There's a window up there, right? Maybe he could see it in the moonlight there. Anyway, holds it up and the letters appear, and he says, "Oh, in the last light of Durin's day, etc., etc., the door will open and the keyhole will appear," which is what the moon letters say. And of course, Tolkien is a great man for his letters and his languages, and codes and all the rest of it. So, and runes. So that was all right up his kind of street. He puts all that in because that's what he's interested in, and a good writer does that. And with authority when you're good at it, right? So, excellent. Now, how are we doing for time? Let's see if we can get... That looks like it's fairly close to about the time we want this video to be. So we'll just take a run up to... We're just going to get on our horses and we're going to head up towards the Misty Mountains. So we're going a different route into... of course, we're going across northern Middle-earth here rather than towards the south where Gondor is. Let's get on our horse. And we'll take our horse up to the mountains, and then we're going to see all new stuff next time. We're going to go up into the Misty Mountains, which is where we haven't visited in our previous journey. We'll just get ourselves to the beginning of that journey and we'll end this video. So, Bilbo's Journey, Part 2. You've just enjoyed. We've got from the Shire now in Part 1, Shire to the Lone Lands in Part 1, Lone Lands to Rivendell Part 2, and we're about to embark on our journey up into the Misty Mountains, which is where the next crisis in the Hobbit's journey occurs. So you see we're climbing up, and let's see if we can see the mountains. See up there? There they are, the Misty Mountains. Oh, it's all very horse's bottom, isn't it, when you do that? There's the Misty Mountains up there. We're going to go up there. Alright. So we'll just get to the entrance of, or the exit from Rivendell. And we'll have seen Rivendell. The dwarfs and Bilbo spent a bit of time in Rivendell recovering from their shock with the trolls and getting themselves reprovisioned. And they take their ponies and they head up into the Misty Mountains. Straight up there. Look at that. Wow. Horse's bottom. Now we're going to go up that path, and I'll see you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed it.